Hello and welcome to Kion Lab. In today's video, we'll see how to draw an entity relationship diagram from the given input or a given information. So here one exercise we are going to do today. So exercise here I will read it. Employee works in department. Each department is managed by an employee. A child must be identified uniquely by name when the parent, that is who is an employee, assume that only one parent works for the company, is known. We are not interested in information about a child once the parent leaves the company. So we are supposed to draw ER diagram for this given information. Now what is our step 1? Step 1 is to find the entities. Now to find the entities, we are supposed to search the nouns or verbs in the given information. So what are the nouns here? Employees works in the department. So employee and department, this can be a noun. So my first entity is employee. Second entity, department. And third entity, a child must be identified uniquely by name when the parent, who is an employee, assume that only one parent works for the company, is known. We are not interested in children data. So child is again a entity. My third entity is child. So noun here I'm supposed to find out the thing or a object. So here there are three nouns we have found out, that is employee, departments and child. So three entities we are supposed to find out from the given example. Now relationship between entities. Now when the second step, that is how do we find out the relationship. So in the earlier video I will recommend you to go through the steps of the ERD diagram where you will get the steps to find out. So this is the next step, that is how do we find out the relationship amongst the entity. So first method is try to find out the verbs in the given information, and many a times verbs cannot be given. So in this example, and easy method is to get the relationship, that is form a matrix of a given entities. So I have three entities over here, that is employee, departments and child. So write across, down and up. So here also I will write employee, departments and child, and try to fill each cell from the given information. Now self entity, there is no relation. So first of all we'll try to find out the relation between employee and department. So how would I find out? Employee works in department. So here verbs, what I got it, works in. So I will write here works in. Employee and child, there is no direct verbs I could find out, but here what is the information about the between child and employee? What I found, child must be identified uniquely by a name. So that we have found out, that is an entity. And what the constraint, who is an employee, assume that only one parent works for the company, and if the parent leave the company, then company doesn't matter about the information of the child. So here employee and child, direct we don't found any relation. Now in the department and employees, what is the verbs we are supposed to find out? Each department is managed by an employee. Each department is managed by an employee. So managed by. these verbs I will fill over here. And department and child, department doesn't bother about the child if the employee leaves the company, so here I am not getting any relation. Now child and employee, child is dependent on the employee because child is not directly related to the company, so it is related to the parent who is the employee of the company. So child is dependent on the employee who is his parent, and child and department are no relation. So I have found out three relations amongst these entities. So employee, department, works in, department employee, managed by, and child and employee dependent. So this is the second step of my entity relationship diagram when I was trying to draw this ERD. Now next is rough ERD. How do I draw this rough ERD? Now here I have got three entities. The first entity, employee, I will draw all the entities, employee, department, and child. Three entities, and we have found out the relationship amongst it. Now employee and department, here the first relation, works in, so we'll draw here works in. Now here I will draw something like this. Next relation will get from this department and employee. Department is managed by employee. So department and employee, there is one more relation, that is managed by. So department and employee, there is one more relation, that is managed by, and between child and parent there is a relation dependent. So we'll draw here dependent. So we'll draw here, this has been called as the rough ERD. So we are just putting it together. So this rectangular bracket, entities are represented by rectangular box, diamond represents the relationship, and arrows represent the flow between the entities. Now mapping cardinality. How do we map the cardinality? So between employee and department, if you remember mapping cardinality, this earlier video you might have watched, employee and department, one relationship we have works in. So this is a type of, what type of relation it is? Many to one. Many to one. So employee can work at most one department. So this is the cardinality we have mapped. Then one more relationship between employee and department is managed by. Now here in the given info, a department is managed by employee, so it is many to one type of relationship. So here we can show the arrow like this. The arrow will go from department to employee, and the third relationship we have got between these two entities, employee and child, and the relationship which we have observed between these two entities, dependent. Now child is dependent on employee, so this is a type of many to one relationship, because employee can have more than one children. So this is my cardinality, that is here many to one. This is department. A department is managed by many employee, so one to many, and here I will get many to one. A employee can have more than one children. Next one, before actually finding out the keys, we are going to map its attributes. So we'll check with the given info whether we can get it some information regarding the attributes. So here, after mapping the cardinality, we can have the attributes. So employee is identified by employee identification number or social security number. We can have employee name. Similarly, department is again identified by department ID and department name, budget. It is been represented into eclipse, budget, and child is identified by his name and age. This is the next step of drawing the entity relationship diagram, that is finding out the attributes with respect to each entity, so that the entity will be identified. Next one, identifying the keys. Now employee, we have three attributes, that is SSN, social security number, salary and phone. Now here, how this entity employees is uniquely identified. It would be uniquely identified by social security number, because salary may be same, phone number also can have different, but sometimes may be same. Two people can using the same number, that is husband wife, they are using the same number. So employee is uniquely identified by social security number, so this is called as the primary key. And when we are trying to draw the entity relationship diagram, it is been underlined. The primary key will be underlined. So this has been identified that this is the primary key. If I just have the ERD with me, then I can come to know that this is the primary key of my entity relationship diagram. Similarly, here in the department table, department number is the unique key, or this department is uniquely identified by this attribute, that is DNO. So that's what it has been underlined, and it has been understood that this is a primary key. Now here, how we'll write the SQL statements, structured query language, SQL statements for these entities. So you can observe here, create table employees, and we can write the schema for it. So this is called as the schema, or it is called as the data definition language. So we are defining here SSN number is accept characters up to 10 characters, salary is in terms of the integer, phone number in terms of the character, and primary key, this key this is the reserved word primary key that is been using, and along with the attribute name. Similarly, department have these three attributes, department number, budget, dname, and their respective domains, that is domain constraint and primary key. Here this attribute represents DNO as a primary key. So we'll summarize our today's session is something like this. From the given info, first thing, you are supposed to find out the entities. Second thing, find out the relationship amongst the entities. Now the easy method to find out the relationship from the given info, that is find out the verbs in the given information, and entities are the nouns or things or object. These are the technical definition, but simple method to get the entities from the given information, that is find out the nouns. And verbs, sometimes you will not get the verbs, so you are supposed to find out the verbs. And easy method to form a matrix from the given entities. So put the entities in the matrix format down and up, and try to map the relationship or verbs in between cells. Next one, then draw the rough ERD. In the next step, find out the attributes. In the next step, find out the keys, that is primary keys. And the last step, results. In the results, find out if there are any duplications present or not. So this is all together to draw entity relationship diagram from the given information. Thank you. Keep watching my videos.